Good morning, everybody. I am not in the truck today, but I was listening to a video and it made me worry about everyone. So I thought I would make this video while I was here and had it on my mind. This is a warning to spot market truck drivers, all right? If you go back 6 weeks when everything was really shut down, you're going to see that everyone was crying and complaining. Some people are on the verge of collapse and going out of business. Some of them got the EIDL loan, which will keep them afloat until things pick up. At the moment, we've got a large influx of freight into the market. Everything in our world is temporary in a way, especially right now with the corona. Right now, people are buying in. The DCs are buying in. Everybody's buying in. So there's a need for trucks. But very soon, especially if the corona comes back, and we already know it's coming back, it's going to crash down again. Now, if you don't have a lot amount of money to hang on to yourself, if you're putting on drivers especially, they're not going to stay with you in the long term. Because, especially if you're a new authority, you've got to haul that trash freight for 2 years. Trash freight can still pay good money. And when you're seeing $2 or $3 a mile an hour freight, you've got to remember that these loads are generally short loads, you know, where you can break off $600 or $800 a day, which isn't very exciting in my opinion, but it can be lasting. But you got to remember, everything you do out of that money, you've got to hang on. You've got to allot a certain amount of it for maintenance. And if you don't allot that money for maintenance and never touch it again, just leave it aside, then you're begging for disaster in the long run. Now, that's just my opinion, because this is something I've never seen before. I've seen plenty of recessions. Believe that a recession is a good time to move ahead, not on the front end of it, but near the end. 6 months before the end is a good time to start doing things, not on day one of a recession. And especially, then this is a pandemic and a recession. Now, it may be a pandemic that is not real, but it still has the same effects. Hell, we might be able to call this a presidential pandemic, because I feel like a lot of it has to do with politics instead of actual health issues. But I don't know that, because I'm just a guy, right? And it doesn't matter who you listen to, you hear all these different stories about everything, and everybody's got a different opinion. But for safety, I would not move fast. I applaud anybody getting their authority, and I think it's a great way to go. Especially for specific people. But you gotta worry about that, because if you lead a bunch of people down a rabbit hole, those people are going to, in time, have animosity toward you if things don't play out and they all lose. As YouTube truckers, we have a responsibility toward caution, actually, because other people do follow us in our endeavors. Another thing to think about, as a new authority, a lot of times people that come and sign on to you, they may be your friends or whatever, right? But they also may be people that don't have a ton of experience in the owner-operator market, and they think that you might help them in some way to further themselves. But what that actually means is most of them don't have a large maintenance account. Now, if they do, that's great. Take them on in a heartbeat. But for safety, if they don't have, I would want to know that they have a good-sized maintenance account, and I don't know if I would take their word for it as just enough. It's a little bit iffy. I mean, I've signed guys on and they're like, oh yeah, I got all this money. But then 2 or 3 weeks later, they're trying to get me to pay for a tire. I blew a tire and I don't have access to cash or whatever, or I don't have no credit. And then, well, you can just hold it out of my check, that's okay. And yeah, you can do it, but you're still paying for it up front. Now, and it's also a pride issue, because you become like, oh, I don't want to say I don't got no money, so you go ahead and pay for it, and then maybe they never run another load, or they never finish up, or they damage your trailer, and I mean, you got to think about all that kind of stuff, because unfortunately some truck drivers, or some everybody, you want to make everyone happy, and people want to ride your wagon, but there's danger involved in all aspects of that. I'm just saying, be careful, be wary.